Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of 5 Minute Gaming News, the show that may or may not be 5 minutes. Boy, did I pick a week to be out of town. I missed so much, but thankfully, it was all covered by the amazing Dodger. I love her to death. Thank you so much, Dukes, for filling in. We've got a lot to talk about today. Today in the news, ding dong, the deal is done. As of Friday, October 13th, yes, that's correct, on Friday the 13th, a deal was signed between Activision Blizzard and Microsoft. Look, I'll be honest, I knew we'd get here. I think a lot of us knew we'd get here, but the road that we walked was winding, filled with twists and turns. A console war broke out. It was wild. And yet, here we are. It's official. After months and months of legal hearings and concessions and too many 10-year agreements to count, the deal is finally through. Of course, the day was filled with the expected happy announcements from across Microsoft, Xbox, Activision, and Blizzard. But here are some of the main takeaways from the deal closing. On top of Activision Blizzard games coming to Xbox Game Pass in 2024, Microsoft and Sony signed an agreement to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation after the deal was completed for a period believed to be 10 years. And, of course, Call of Duty will also be coming to Nintendo Switch over the next 10 years, hopefully in better shape than the recent AAA ports Switch has had. Additionally, the Xbox maker signed a number of long-term game distribution agreements with cloud gaming providers, including Nvidia, and of course, the final concession that helped encourage the CMA to give the deal a go-ahead was when Microsoft agreed to sell Ubisoft cloud gaming rights outside the European Economic Area for all Activision Blizzard games released over the next 15 years. And as much as I've been critical of the deal, which I have, it's mostly in a hope that whatever new direction they take, the people at the top will do things a little better, treat the workers a little better, give the gamers a fair shake, you know what I mean? Because at least now there's a chance. Because, moment of silence, Bobby Kotick is stepping down. Sure, he'll probably get a $350 million parachute, but you know what? One day he'll be dead, so enjoy the money, you husk of a human being. Now my concern, of course, is the same when looking at something like Embracer Group. All these studios bought, and then people laid off. And I have a feeling we're about to see a wave of layoffs across Activision Blizzard as it's now a part of Microsoft. There's going to be some redundancies. It's going to happen. No matter what they say, like, no, it's not going to, it's going to happen. It will happen. The question is, to what scale? And then the next thing to watch for is what happens after that, when all these games are now on Game Pass and Blizzard games or Activision games are now pumped out on Game Pass. What does that do to the gaming space as a whole? Because no matter how critical I am of Activision Blizzard, they are huge. It's a very big company, and now they're part of another big company. It's a super company, and it's available to Game Pass users who are paying that monthly fee to get access to it. What does that do to the overall gaming space? Day one drops there? It'll be big. Again, Game Pass still the best deal for gamers, but what does that do for the rest of the gaming space? I don't know. We'll find out. And then in 10 years, should I still be blessed to be doing this, we'll figure out what happens when all the deals expire. What happens to gaming then? There's a lot of repercussions coming down the pipeline from this deal. We just don't really know what they're going to be yet. And it's going to be fascinating, maybe a little terrifying, but super interesting. Speaking of change, it looks like we now know who the new Mario voice is. It wasn't from a Nintendo Direct. It wasn't from a press release. It was from a tweet that went out the exact same time as the Microsoft Activision Blizzard news, which, if there wasn't enough to cover already. Kevin Afghani, the LA-based actor who also voiced Arnold in Genshin Impact, shared online, incredibly proud to have voiced Mario and Luigi in Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Thanks to Nintendo for inviting me into the Flower Kingdom. Now, part of the reason this was rather quick and unceremoniously announced could be due to an alleged cast list data mine from last week ahead of the game's release. The leak caused tons of fan speculation online as to who was going to replace Charles Martinet as Mario. But it looks like Kevin was given the go-ahead to announce that he is the new Mario and Luigi, and will be so for future games, which is pretty neat. I'm glad the torch is passed, and I'm very excited to see what he does with those roles, because they're now his, and honestly, it's Mario, it's Luigi. Sure, we kind of have an idea of what they are, but as you can see from the Mario movie, people were pretty accepting of something new. So let's see where we go from here. And where we're going, this is a segue all right, is to this week's releases. Kicking off the week, we have Sonic Superstars releasing on Tuesday. In this new take on the classic 2D Sonic fast-paced platforming, play as either Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, or Amy as you utilize new powers and abilities in order to take down foes, including the nefarious Dr. Eggman. And for the first time ever, players can play through the entire campaign with up to 3 friends, thanks to drop-in and drop-out 4-player local co-op. I love me some good old-fashioned Sonic. I love the idea of playing with friends. I imagine that's chaotic as hell. And Sonic Superstars, it gives me that Kid Jesse in front of the Sega Genesis feeling again. Absolutely here for it. But then, on October 20th, Insomniac's highly anticipated Marvel's Spider-Man 2 releases for the PS5. Set 9 to 10 months after the events of Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales, Peter and Miles will face not only the trials of their personal lives, but also those of Kraven the Hunter, and of course, Venom. In addition to all the slick spider suits, I think the feature that really has me for this one is the ability to switch between Peter and Miles seamlessly in the game. I'm so curious how that works and what changes based on who you're playing when, or if it matters. I don't know, but it's awesome. What does that do for the narrative? You know what I mean? I am once again hyped to swing through New York City and experience this new Spider-Man game. Anyway, thanks for having me back. It's nice to be here. Shameless plug for patreon.com/Jesse Cox. It's how this show even exists and how I can have friends like Dodger come on and fill in for me. Thank you so much, and I'll see y'all tomorrow for another episode of 5 Minute Gaming News.